The battle for Earth-8 is now over, but the battle for Earth-9 is about to begin. Hello everyone, welcome to a little new idea that I've got, sort of making a little bit of an intro video for the next campaign, because one thing I mainly noticed is that each campaign is pretty darn different in terms of like how the things are configured, how mods are set up, as well as like any sort of limitations I'm setting for myself to try to make the game like a bit harder for myself. But anyway, so here we go. I thought I might as well go through it in terms of like just the, but hopefully a short video so to get some short details on what this run will entail in comparison to Earth-8's campaign. Also, here we go. So first off, I'm only going through the major changes here. So first thing is going to be the subject of the Hive. It's going to be 100% back and in full force. So I'm going to be trying to use the Hive more again. So I got to be fixing up the AI that's apparently is recommended within the Steam page itself for it. So yes, Hive and Lost missions are coming back. So I'm bracing for that. So is my computer. We'll see how we go on that. Speaking of the Lost, they're not just the shambling horde anymore of just the regular zombies that go up and bite and punch. For Earth-9, I found that they're actually a full-blown Reaper invasion. There's going to be collectors and Reaper units that are going to be added into the Lost, and the Lost themselves are going to look like husks. So it's going to be basically Mass Effect's Reaper invasion as the Lost instead. So they're going to be able to shoot me back now, which is kind of worrying. But not only that, those husks, they're not as easy to kill as the Lost are, so no more headshots from them either. So that's going to be making the Lost very, very, very dangerous in comparison to previous campaigns. If that's not bad enough, the Advent and factions themselves are going to be potentially more innovative in their gear and abilities, making them more unpredictable in the field. They could use different loadouts, get stat buffs throughout the campaign, even resistances to certain damage types. Thank you, Stukov. The Avatar project itself is not the only thing that's going to be in play either. The aliens are going to be working on more side goals that'll give them tremendous bonuses or bad stuff for me. I don't know what they actually do, but it's basically a mod that's called Alien Side Goals. I am going to be adding them in just to add some extra, more difficulty to this campaign, and I can't wait to find out what that's going to be entailing. So we'll see how that goes. Little minor thing, Chosen and the Avatars themselves are going to be getting some buffs. Specifically, they're going to be getting a form of like ruler reaction, so they'll basically be a bit more difficult to deal with rather than their current counterparts, which made the Chosen pretty easy to burst down, and Avatars will basically just hunt them down. So they weren't really too difficult in the campaign, so hopefully this will sort of help give them a good buff to make them actually really scary again. Injuries in battle, they're going to hurt more than ever now. So what I'm going to be doing is really a few things to make this more difficult in terms of if I get injured, it's going to hurt even more. I'm going to be using a mod that's called Complicated Red Fog. So it's a Red Fog variant that's from like previous iterations of XCOM, where if you take damage, you will have your stats starting to drop, such as like mobility and aim. So therefore your capability as a soldier will decrease with injuries, which sort of makes sense. You're dealing with the pain of getting shot and stabbed and a lot of other stuff. And with Complicated Red Fog, it affects both me and Advent. So basically, that'll give more potential strategies for leaving things at really low HP and going to attack other enemies. It actually is more valuable to do that because that's less chance of them being able to shoot me back if their stats are decreased. So alongside Red Fog itself, and not created equal, so soldier stats when they're growing in rank will now be more unpredictable, so I'll be going with a mod that's also called Hidden Potential. So this will basically help a soldier, or they could make a soldier even worse, we don't know. So it's really going to be while one soldier may start weak, they could get much stronger later on in the campaign, or they could get even weaker in some aspects and stronger in other things. So hopefully it'll make each soldier very, very unique in comparison to last campaign, and will try to push me into trying to utilizing each soldier most effectively with equipment as well as weapons. So it's going to be very interesting on how that's going to work out. And speaking of the injury part from Red Fog, injury timers will now scale throughout the campaign, so they will get potentially longer and longer as the campaign goes on. This should end up making me use a more wide range of soldiers instead of the, dozen or so of my alpha team guys or something like that, to give basically more people the time to shine in the roster. One more thing as well, depending on how well I go in the campaign, the force level is going to shift. One of the mods I'll be using from the collection selection that Stukov has put together is one that dynamically changes the force level based on the performance in the mission. In which case, do I get a flawless? Do I get a good performance or poor? Whatever, like however things go. So really, it's just not much else that really needs to be said then other than if I do well in missions, it'll make future missions harder. If I do worse, it'll make future missions potentially slightly easier to try to basically just tune it back a little bit more. So it's not like it's gonna completely kick me in the balls and keep me on the ground. It's gonna give me a bit of time to a little bit of a chance to get back at them. Smaller things, so really just smaller things to mention. Like one of the mods I'm gonna be using is if I get a flawless rating on a mission, I'll get extra rewards on top of that. So something to sort of balance out the extra force level increase. Big one, reloading guns are now turn ending. So no more reload and shoot shenanigans that I've been doing in the campaign in the past. All classes except Amalgamation and Jedi are going to be gone. So no more of those N7 super soldiers that I had before. But the Jedi is going to stay because Nemesis needs these lightsabers. Intel costs for expansion to new regions are going to be doubled in comparison to last campaign. So therefore expansion is going to take a much longer time to get done. And also it really puts down, okay, which regions do I want more? Because getting the next region is going to be much harder to get. So really that's going to make things like quite interesting for a long-term campaign. As when it comes to usual things, when it comes to setting up new mods for this campaign, new enemies are going to be added in. We've also got new factions coming in as well that have been released during this campaign. So we've got the Combine, Hut Cartels, and Night Sisters. Not only are the Chosen are going to get those extra buffs, they're also going to be potentially more aggressive in their AI as well. So I'm hoping they're not going to stay back and do their passive abilities, but actually rush in and attack me, like the Assassin does, except the other two should be doing the same thing. Another thing I'm going to be doing is the turn order itself is going to be shifted around a little bit because I found a mod that can do that. So Lost and Raiders will be actually having their turn before Advent does now. So they can't eat Overwatch for me anymore, which makes it a bit harder for me, but also balancing it out a little bit. The Resistance team is going to be going directly after myself now, so giving friendly squads more of a chance to properly react to what I'm doing, and less killing stealing for XP. That'd be nice. Though, if this does end up making the campaign too easy, I can switch that up to basically being that the Resistance goes before me instead of after me. So yeah, we'll keep it here on the ground. We'll see how that one goes. In terms of the rules for this run itself, so we're going to stick to what we had last campaign, where we cannot raid chosen strongholds until they've actually attacked us in a chosen Avenger defense and have failed to defeat us. So same as before, can't kill them until they come attack me first and fail. Basically the same as last time. However, I'm going to be adding 2 new ones into this campaign to make this one a bit harder for me. So the covert actions, if there's any covert action that regards a Raider HQ, then they're going to be first priority, and I can't do any other covert actions in the Resistance ring until the HQ ones have been completed. There's going to be exceptions if they're potentially bugged, because sometimes the Raider bases can actually have that issue. Okay, so and the last one is going to be all regions and continent bonuses must be obtained before I can finish the game. So that means, yeah, getting all the regions as well as building all of the radio towers to then be able to get all of the bonuses. But the whole point of that is basically it's just I think that's what's called a full planet liberation challenge as well to put on top of that. So this should make things a bit more difficult to get to the end game. So that means if I manage to get all 3 of these pretty much followed, then it should be fine.
Incoming transmission.
Hello, Commander Tech Knight. Word has reached my ears of your arrival from the beyond. You may already know me as Colonel Jakua, commander of Cerberus operations here on Earth. We want to get the aliens off of humanity's homeworld just as much as you do, and will personally offer you support on your missions going forward. Sadly, such resources will come with costs to myself, so I'll need to ask for compensation for any time you wish to call upon my forces. Tech credits will be more than enough to accommodate this. Best of luck to you, Commander. See you on the other side.
And that's pretty much it. So, if anything, anyone who has been watching Earth-8, thank you all for actually taking part and actually spending your time to actually watch me playing through this journey, failing, and also succeeding. So therefore, I'm hoping to see you guys in Earth-9. So if anyone who's on YouTube and doesn't know, I stream this game every second Thursday and Friday. But thankfully, this December, I'll be playing every Thursday and Friday at 7:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, AEDT, or GMT plus 11, whichever is easiest for you. And if you actually jump onto the live Twitch feed, you can also take part in all of the polls and the tech credits and stuff as well. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye for now.